Okay. So as we did last time, same as we did last time, I'll delete this stuff here and keep a camera, because as we said before, we always need a camera if we want to track anything. I'll open up a motion tracking workspace and import my footage. Yeah, press A to select everything and then import my footage. All right, we can see that it's 24 frames per second. The number of frames is not set yet. So as we did last time, we said that anytime we import any footage here, we need to press these two buttons, set scene frames and prefetch. Okay, and that should load the footage in memory. And now let's have a look. This is very little movement. Okay, but there is a place where it moves a bit, it moves quite a bit. So this movement here. So this is trackable. If your footage is too still and there is not much happening in it, it will be difficult to track. Okay, so I might as well put it on a tripod or something instead of I don't know, movement like this. Okay. So there is a we don't have any tracking markers here, but what I want to show you with this exercise is that you can track footage using whatever is available in your scene if you have enough contrast, and you would be surprised at how good Blender is at detecting little places of contrast and using them for tracking. Yeah, okay. All right, okay, so set scene frames and prefetch. Yeah, it's moving, it's working. Now, the way to do this, again, if you want to follow along, the way to do this is with markers. Last time we added manual markers, right? So we press Control and click, right? And we went here, search, and so on. And we did all these things, right? And then tracked points one by one. All right, we're not going to do that today. We want Blender to detect features. Okay, so the button for this is that. Now, before we do that, as I said, you have to set up these settings before you start adding trackers. So there isn't much movement happening in this. There is no zoom. That doesn't zoom in really. It doesn't rotate. It doesn't do anything. So in this case, location is enough. Of course, you can change this to affine. You can change this to whatever you want, but location in this case would be enough. Match previous frame, as we did last time. We said that almost always you want this to match previous frame, and you almost always want to normalize, which means it doesn't. It takes into consideration that the shifts in light when it tracks. Okay, so if the way to do this is after setting up is to go detect features. Okay, and as you can see, Blender started detecting all these features and placing all these markers for you on your scene. Okay, now many of these markers will be garbage markers and useless markers. So there is a threshold amount. So you get this rollout here, detect markers, and you can increase the threshold. And the more you do that, the more accurate your markers will be. Okay. The margin here, 16, this means the margin of your footage, that you set a number of pixels where you don't want it to detect any markers beyond this number of pixels here. So the default is 16. Okay, default is 16. If you increase it, as you can see, it will delete the markers near the edge of your footage. Okay, and this is the distance between markers and pixels. Okay, so if you don't want markers to be too close to each other. Okay, so this is, let's say this is done for now. And what I can do now is I have all these trackers. Will make sure that I select all of them and just track. Okay, just let it track. As long as I have 8 good trackers that go all the way through, that's enough, right? But let's have a look at the graph now and how I can read this graph and get rid of bad markers without even looking. Okay, so as you can see, mostly these trackers are moving together. If you find any spikes like this, for example, this means that it's a bad tracker, that it moved, it shifted, something bad happened with it. Okay, so it's jumping here. So I'll get rid of it. I have plenty. Okay, so I'll get rid of it. I can select it on the graph and delete it. I have one here that is not good, and this is not good for a reason. It's moving, and you can't have trackers that move. Okay, so this one doesn't look right to me, so I'll delete that. That one looks bad. Okay, so I cleaned it up a little bit. Now let's have a look here at manually and see if I have any trackers that move. Okay, so for example, this tracker here, this one, it's on a moving object because this branch is moving with the wind. Okay, so that's not good. Get rid of that. I'll get rid of this. I'll have a look at this tracker here. This looks like it's shifting a little bit. Okay, so I'll get rid of it as well. These look mainly all right. The trackers on the floor are solid. The trackers on the trees are all bad. So anything on these palm trees is not good because the palm tree is moving in the wind. So I'm going to select all of these. Anything on the palm tree. Now I chose this footage because of this, because of wind and because of all of that. To show you that you need to remove this stuff. Okay, so I removed all these trackers. Something else we have there is, it seems that this is following some person walking there, so that's not good. Okay, as I said, the ones on the floor look solid. Okay, we have this one that's moving in the wind. This is probably okay. Not really. See this one. Yeah, this one looks good. That is obviously not a good tracker. See this. Yeah, looks decent. Maybe this one is not good. Okay, so now I have these that Blender detected. Now, in normal cases, you won't have things running with wind and all that stuff. Okay, so if you're doing one indoors, or if you're doing one even outdoors, but rocks and not plants, it would be uh, it would be better. Okay, it would be much easier than this. Remind me how we add a marker. We didn't. We pressed detect features. Okay, and the Blender automatically added markers. Okay, so I have these. They're already tracked. If I want to add more markers manually, I can do that. Okay, but mainly I have this now. So I'll go straight away to solve. I'll let it determine keyframes. I'll press this focal length like last time and optical center, and try to solve and see what I get. I get a solve error of 0.49, which is excellent, really. Okay, so let's determine a few things. So we said last time that we will set as background here. I'm looking here now. Set as background, and then set up tracking scene. Okay, and now I will determine where the floor is. So we said we want 3. We want a triangle for Blender to know. So that's 3 of them. That's a clear triangle. So I'll say this is the floor. And as you can see, it's even slanting this way, right? Because the floor is slanting that way. Okay? If you want it to be, I don't know, this type of plane, then you can change. You can do these 3 and say this is the floor. Okay? And now it's sort of flatter. Okay? Because I chose a triangle that faces that way. Okay, now it's very small. So I will set origin here. At this point, this will be my 0, 0, 0, this one. And something else that I didn't do last time that we can do now, I can set the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay, so I can say that if you want to set an axis, you need 2 markers in a direction. So I will say it's this one, my origin, and this I want this to be my y-axis. Okay, or I don't know, or this one. This one is better, possibly. Yeah, so I want this one to be my y-axis approximately. So set y-axis. Okay, only one, sorry. It knows where the origin is, so I need only one tracker and say that this is my y-axis. Okay, and now it's pointing this way. It's pointing towards this tracker. If I want to set my x-axis, I can, for example, do this. This is probably better, set x-axis, okay? So this is probably more in line with how we're looking at this footage. Okay, and then scale. So from here to here, I would say this is half a meter maybe. Set scale. Yep, huge. Let's do 2. Let's do, no, 3. Okay, so this is reasonable. Now with these slanting floors, just a second. I want this to be my y-axis because this will orient things much better. Okay, so with these type of floors that are not flat, you basically have an option of what you want to do now. Okay, but I'll leave it as it is. It looks okay to me. If you want your floor to slant, okay, as I said, you pick a triangle that goes this way. Okay, but I want it to be a bit flat, and I can introduce this slant in my modeling. So that's done. Now I can go to my layout. I'll do camera view here. And in my camera, go to background images, and I'll increase opacity, so I'll get the full opacity of my footage. And here I will show the motion tracking markers. Okay, so here is my camera. And this is the floor. I can add them here as well. I can add my tracking markers here as well. Okay, so there I can see them. Bigger size, so you can see them. Okay, so these markers are exactly where they're supposed to be in my footage. Okay, so if I start modeling, get rid of everything here. Okay, so if I start modeling, for example, using this tracker, I'm actually modeling right at the tree trunk. Okay, if I start modeling here, if I start putting anything here, I will be exactly where in space, I mean in 3D space, I will be exactly where these markers are in my footage. Okay, so I can build a whole environment that goes from back to front using these markers as a guide. So this one is back here. Okay, this one is right here, and so on. As you can see, this is way in the front. This marker here is in the front. Okay, this marker is at the front of my scene. This one is in the back. Let's see. It read this marker as slightly behind this one. So there it is. Where are these? And this one is up here on the tree. So there it is. It's on the tree here. Okay, so you can use this as a guide if you want to model this tree now. Okay, you can use this as a guide. You can use that as a guide, slightly back from that one. Okay, and so on. So this is how you get Blender to detect features and to track. Now, of course, I just wanted you to see this. There is more to this tutorial than just tracking. Okay, so on where is it gone? So I made a tutorial here. I made a tutorial here for the exact same thing using this footage. Okay, how to detect features and how to track your scene. Okay, and then there is a section here where there's a section here where I model this tree. Okay, and then put a texture on this tree from the video that will match the tree, and then I don't know, just do something stupid and simple like create a hole in the tree. Okay, and this is very simple, but this is just to show you the potential of what you can do. You can turn this tree into 3D geometry and have things animating in it or whatever. اقدر اخلي ما ادري سنافر يطلعون من whatever animated characters and so on. Okay, so if you want you can watch that. بما ان باكر عيد وعندكم تسليم وعندكم ما ادري شنو. Okay, so you can watch that if you want after you finish your project, and we will get back to this next week. That's all I have for today. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions regarding this or your project? Well, شيماء, no. إن شاء الله بس بروح. In that case,
دكتور بغيت استفسر عن شغله
استفسر.
اللي هو انت قلت لنا في الجوجل ماب يطلع اللي هو المعالم مال مثلا الدولة ك 3 دي.
ايه
الحين حق الموكب اللي اذا بنسوي حق البلاننج دوكيومنت
ايه
فشلون اقدر استخدم؟ لان دورت انا بصراحة بس ما حصلت.
لحظة شوي لحظة. Bear with me just a second. اوكي. خلينا نشوف. اوكي، هذا من 2025. احضر اشوف هذا السريع شنو العدون اللي يستخدم. ها شوف، بطرش لك هذا هو جوجل ايرث. زين، مو جوجل مابس، جوجل ايرث. زين بطرش لك الحين هذا. زين شوف هذا التوتوريال، بتنزل برنامج برنامج معين، شيء جوجل ايرث ستوديو اعتقد اسمه شيء كذي. زين من هناك بتاخذ ما ادري الماب اللي تبغيه، وبعدين في ادون بعد موجود بتحصله في الديسكربشن مال هاي الفيديو يعني. آه في ادون حق بلندر، وبس بتاخذ الديتا بيروح في بلندر بالمودلز ماله بالترين ماله، اذا كان في تحرجات رايح فوق نازل تحت كل شيء كامل.
حلو.
It's pretty easy يعني.
ودكتور بعد اللي هو الموكب، هو طبعا ده الموكب بدون انيميشن يعني بس صور، صح ولا لا؟ يعني بيكون بس الفيجوال اللي هو الموديلنج مال الفيجوالز اللي
لا
بنستخدمهم.
لا 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 لا، الموك اب بيكون آه يعني واحد من اهم الاشياء اللي فيه الانيميتد كاميرا يعني. زين الكاميرا بتروح من وين لوين. الرندر ما يحتاج يكون رندر هاي كواليتي. زين بس لازم تراويني شنو بيصير فيه في السين مالك يعني. فانت تشوف انت
اي
كانك
بس
قاعد
قصدي
تسوي
فيديو او
فانت
صور.
فيديو. تبغي تعطيني
اوكي.
صور اعطني صور، بس يعني ما اقدر اتخيل بدون فيديو شلون بتقدر توصل المعلومة يعني.
اوكي، وخليك رابط يعني البلاننج.
وش هو ذا الفيديو يعني؟
اي اخليك رابط، والله مثلا ارفقه بفايل ثاني
بس
بروحه.
اذا حطيته في رابط بعد بيكون في فايل بروحه وش
لا قصدي انزله يعني في مثلا جوجل درايف واخلي الرابط او اخليه كمنفصل يعني. لان هالمره اللي سويته ان انا في فيديو بروحه خليت اللينكات مال الريفرنس